There comes a moment when everything goes quiet and the world around you feels unclear. That's not confusion, it's creation. You're not being overlooked, you're being reshaped. When God prepares to hand you something extraordinary, He doesn't announce it loudly. He works on you in the shadows, far from chaos, far from ease, far from interference. Because true greatness doesn't grow in noise, it develops in isolation. And if you find yourself hidden today, rejoice. You're on the edge of elevation. The weight you're bearing isn't a punishment, it's a prophecy. Intense resistance isn't a stop sign, it's an indication you're approaching your destiny's door, and that door won't open until who you are can hold what you're called to carry. You say it aches? Good. Diamonds form under immense pressure. Gold gets its brilliance in flames. Champions are born from struggle. What you're feeling now is birth pain, and birth pain proves something powerful is on its way. Many surrender when the pressure mounts, not realizing that pressure is the assistant to promotion. You asked for strength. This is the shaping. You requested vision. Now you're in the valley. God examines your mind before entrusting your mission. He stretches your limits before releasing your increase. So if you're in the waiting, wait well. Delay doesn't mean denial. Delay is divine design. Let me tell you what many won't. Massive blessings demand radical obedience. If God says move, move. If He says release, let go. If He says be quiet, remain silent. Obedience isn't a suggestion. It's the currency of purpose. Destiny doesn't entertain debate. It demands surrender. It calls for trust. It may even require blind steps, because the road to breakthrough is often paved in darkness. If it feels like chaos is surrounding you, don't panic. You're not cursed, you're chosen. Hell doesn't chase the empty-handed. The opposition is confirmation you carry something precious. The enemy doesn't fire at nothing. He attacks because your gift is genuine. And once you grasp that, fear loses its grip. You're not being destroyed, you're being developed. And development confirms destiny. When God prepares to release something mighty, He hides you first. Then He humbles you. Then He molds you. He strips away your pride, your ego, your justifications. You can't grasp the promise if you're clinging to your past. You desire growth? Then release what's comfortable. Release your former self. Because what's ahead isn't a step forward. It's a rebirth. And rebirth never comes easy. So here's what matters. Stay sharp, stay surrendered, stay quiet until your moment arrives. And when the door opens, step through it boldly, like the future was already shown to you. Because it was, not with sight, but with belief. And belief, authentic belief, is destiny's native tongue. So let go of doubt, rise, prepare. Because when God gets ready to give you something monumental, the only question is, are you ready to receive it? A sacred delay isn't rejection, it's the highest form of trust. It's the very point where most fall apart, confusing God's silence with His absence. But hear this, just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. Delay isn't God ignoring you, it's God shaping you. You think He's late, but He's running on a divine schedule. His timing doesn't answer to your urgency. His rhythm is flawless, His method is exact, and His word still stands. When nothing seems to move, that's not rejection, it's refinement. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. The most powerful breakthroughs often follow the longest seasons of silence. Royalty isn't rushed. Miracles aren't microwaved. God isn't about to place something in your hands that you're not equipped to hold. What good is a gift if it crushes you on arrival? So He withholds it, not to torment, but to strengthen, not to reject, but to refine. You asked Him to build your strength. Now He's applying pressure. You asked for growth. This is how it starts. This isn't denial. This is development disguised as delay. People give up because they walk away too early. They see stillness and assume stagnation. But just because you don't see the seed rising doesn't mean the roots aren't taking hold. You can't plant and uproot over and over and expect a harvest. That's not belief, that's fear. You have to trust the soil even when it looks barren. God isn't in the business of shortcuts. He builds legacy, not lottery wins. He's writing a generational story, not a fleeting moment. That kind of glory requires time. That kind of favor is forged in fire. And if you're in the fire now, you're in the workshop of what's next. Every silent second is by design. Every shut doors is part of the blueprint. Every holdup has a purpose. When it seems like you're stuck, you're actually being drawn back like a slingshot. The more you're pulled, the farther you'll launch. But only if you don't break during the pullback. If you crack under pressure, the mission ends early. If you quit in the wait, the miracle stalls. You have to outlast your emotions. Your foundation must be purpose, not passing feelings. Feelings deceive. Faith leads. Stop comparing your timeline to someone else's. God isn't preparing you for their promise. He's crafting you for your own. Their highlight isn't your instruction manual. What looks like a delay might just be divine protection. You asked for the spotlight. He saw the snare. You wanted connection. He saw captivity. You prayed for love. He saw the heartbreak. What you thought was a door was a trap. And when he said, "Not yet," that was mercy. That was God saying, "I love you too much to let you settle for anything less than what I've written." You must hold the vision even when there's no evidence. This is where warriors are formed. In silence, not celebration. Not when things are easy, but when nothing seems to shift. Can you still show up when everything feels stuck? Can you still believe with no proof? That's the gap between those called and those chosen. The called get excited about the promise. The chosen survive the process. The called cheer at the start. The chosen stand in the silence. This isn't about excitement, it's about endurance. The enemy's biggest strategy in delay is distraction. He wants to convince you that God changed the plan, that it's over. But it's not. It's just not finished. God is building a version of you that won't be shaken. You can't rise without first being dug deep. He's excavating before elevating. He's reinforcing your base because the blessing will be weighty. You don't need quick wins. You need lasting impact. Don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What now?" Stop begging for a way out. Start embracing the strength to get through. There's a version of you on the other side of this pressure that won't break. One that walks by faith, not sight. One that doesn't collapse under stress. One that leads with wisdom and speaks with power. That version is being built in the quiet hours, in the mornings filled with fear, in the invisible seasons. That's where legends are formed. That's where faith gets real. That's where destiny is born. So keep standing. Keep trusting. Keep grinding in the silence. You are not forgotten. You're not off course. You're not behind. You're right where he needs you. Every delay is the setup for something greater. Every waiting moment is laying bricks under your future. And when it finally happens, when the sky cracks open and the doors swing wide, it won't be a moment, it'll be a move. Everything that felt long and hard will make sense. You won't remember the waiting. You'll only remember he kept his word. And when it comes, you won't just receive it, you'll be strong enough to carry it. Divine delay was never a no. It was God's hand shaping, shielding, and setting the stage. So when it arrives, it won't crush you, it'll crown you. Pressure always comes before promotion. If you're feeling the pressure, you're not falling, you're being lifted. True elevation never whispers, it roars with responsibility. It comes with heat, with force, with a kind of testing that hits your core. Pressure finds weakness, but it also creates warriors. God uses it not to punish, but to purify. You're not being buried, you're being built. The weight you feel now is connected to your next level, and only those who stand under it will rise above it. Stop asking God to remove the pressure. Learn to walk through it. Pressure isn't your enemy. It's your evidence. If things feel harder, it's because you're getting closer. Purpose invites resistance. The moment you take a step toward it, the opposition shows up. But it's not random. It's specific. The pressure you feel is your next level pressing against who you currently are. You must stretch to step into it. Pressure isn't proof of failure. It's the sign that God is enlarging your capacity. Your shoulders are being built to carry responsibility. Your character is being refined for trust. Your spirit is being trained for endurance. Because what's ahead isn't light, it's heavy, and only the grounded can handle the glory. You can't ask for greatness and run from growth. You can't pursue purpose and whine when it costs comfort. The road to greatness is paved with struggle. That's how God sees what you're made of. Talk is cheap. Comfort deceives. Faith is tested under pressure. Anyone can worship in ease. But can you worship in war? Can you stay locked in when your mind is under siege? Can you take one more step when quitting would be easier? That's the threshold. That's where everything changes. Every champion hit that wall. Every single one. But they didn't collapse. They broke through. They felt the loneliness, the confusion, the stillness, the pressure, but they endured. Pressure isn't the enemy. It's the mirror. It pulls out the potential that comfort hides. It exposes your hunger. It forces you to lean into God when your own strength fails. And here's the honest truth. Some promotions never came because the pressure scared you off. You saw the storm and turned around. You felt the weight and sat down. You were inches from the shift, but quit. Don't make that mistake again. Don't run. Don't fold. Pressure fades, but the reward lasts forever. The door you've been praying for doesn't swing open for the timid. It opens for those forged in heat, those who didn't blink. You want favor? Carry fire. You want authority? Endure the attack. You want elevation? Pass the pressure. This isn't the time to hesitate. This is the moment to remember exactly who you are. Pressure molds the average into warriors, but only if you stop searching for shortcuts. Only if you stop begging for ease. Only if you ask for endurance, not escape. That's the line between those who rise and those who fade. The ones who rise meet pressure like a mission. They know it hurts, but they also know it's holy. Pressure shows what's truly inside. It's training for the trust God is about to place in your hands. He won't raise you until you can handle what comes with it. You want more? Manage more. You want to lead? Learn to carry the weight of being watched. The pressure is the path. Embrace it. The promotion you've been praying for carries a weight, and if you can't hold it now, you'll collapse beneath it later. That's why God's allowing the pressure. He's testing your endurance, measuring your resilience, because what's ahead will demand both. Yes, it'll feel unjust at times. Yes, it'll feel like you're carrying more than your share. But don't curse the pressure, honor it. It's the final threshold before the breakthrough. It's your final trial before the release. You've been prepared. You've been processed. Now you're being proven. The pressure isn't a delay, it's your launch pad. It's heaven's way of saying, let's see what you're made of. You're stronger than you realize. You're closer than you know. And if you don't faint, if you don't fold, if you don't walk away, there will come a moment when the weight lifts, the doors swing open, and the promotion arrives. And when it does, you won't wonder if you were ready. You'll know. You'll stand not as a survivor of the storm, but as one who conquered it. Because you didn't just endure pressure, you overcame it. Resistance is not distance, it's proximity. The attack didn't come because you're lost. It came because you're right near the breakthrough. No one fires at shadows. No one fights an empty hand. What you're facing now is not a curse, it's confirmation. It's not disorder, it's direction. The enemy isn't responding to where you are. He's responding to where you're going. When resistance rises, revelation is close. When the war intensifies, the win is near. You're not far. You're at the edge. The closer you get to purpose, the louder the distractions. That's not accident, it's opposition. The enemy doesn't waste energy on the stagnant. He chases momentum. You think the pressure means you're not ready, but it's actually the evidence you are. That attack you're feeling, that voice telling you to give up, that heaviness in your spirit, that's resistance. And resistance is a signal. It tells you you're on the right track. You're not being blocked. You're being built. You're not being denied. You're being designated for the next level. Some people misread resistance. They treat it as a stop sign. They hesitate. They doubt. They fold. But those with fire in their soul, they lean in. They understand that resistance is what sharpens the edge. That opposition only shows up when you're carrying something sacred. Weakness runs. Warriors press forward. No resistance means no movement. No weight means no rise. No fight means no favor. Every step toward your calling will stir the storm. The higher you climb, the harder the wind hits. You're not just ascending, you're breaking barriers your bloodline never could. You're tearing down walls built by generations before you. And that kind of power wakes up enemies. It activates every force that's tried to keep you small. The fight you're in right now was designed specifically for your destiny. It knows what you're about to touch. It senses what you're stepping into. That's why it's here now. You prayed for influence, and the pressure followed. You asked for purpose, and the battle arrived. You dared to walk in faith, and hell responded. That's not a sign of failure. It's confirmation of favor. Heaven recognizes your obedience. Hell sees your progress. Resistance never shows up when you're weak. It shows up when you're shifting. It doesn't attack your past. It goes after your future. It's not there to say you've lost your way. It's there because you found it. And if you quit now, you surrender victory without a fight. You hand over destiny before you ever touch the door. Every opposition is crafted to distract you from what's ahead. Discouragement is not just emotional, it's strategic. When resistance shows up, don't panic. Pause. Ask yourself, what am I near? Because something is trembling in the spirit. Something is shifting behind the scenes. That door you thought was locked is beginning to shake. That gate is about to give way. And the resistance is the evidence. You're not being targeted because you're weak. You're being targeted because you're a threat. So when resistance comes, don't run. Rise. Don't retreat. Advance. Remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself who sent you. Plant your feet. Set your jaw. Push forward. Not because it's painless, but because it's necessary. You didn't come this far to turn back. You didn't survive the fire just to drown in the flood. You didn't crawl through darkness just to quit at dawn. There's something on the other side of this fight, and the pressure you feel is proof it's real. The pain is real. The warfare is real. But so is the promise. So is the calling. So is the assignment. You weren't built for ease. You were designed for impact. You weren't born to coast. You were chosen to conquer. That's why it feels like this. That's why you wake up with weight. That's not depression. It's divine intensity. You're being pulled forward while everything tries to hold you back. And the resistance is your confirmation. So dig deeper. Hold your ground. Refuse to collapse. This war wasn't your idea, but it was your inheritance. The pressure isn't here to bury you. It's here to bring you out. This fight isn't the end. It's the beginning of the next chapter. Don't fold now. Don't question your place now. You're too close, too chosen, too called, too gifted to collapse here. This pressure, it's not your grave. It's your turning point. And when the breakthrough hits, and it will, you'll look back and see that resistance didn't stop you. It shaped you. It didn't block you. It built you. It wasn't proof of failure. It was proof of favor. Vision demands more than excitement. It demands endurance. It doesn't show up to inspire you. It comes to remake you. When vision drops into your life, it changes everything. You can't walk the same, think the same, or live the same. Vision disrupts comfort. It disrupts rhythm. It interrupts everything that's shallow and pulls you into depth. But vision comes with a cost. You can't inherit vision without walking through preparation. You don't carry promise without walking through fire. God gives glimpses, not guarantees. And if you want to carry that glimpse, you must commit to silent seasons. Everyone wants the victory. Few are willing to go through the valley. Vision without preparation is just a dream. But the bigger the vision, the deeper the refinement. The greater the future, the more demanding the process. Vision doesn't just change what you want, it changes who you are. The person who saw the vision won't be the same one who fulfills it. That version of you has to be built, shaped, broken, recast, refined. That's why the wait feels like wilderness. It's not punishment, it's preparation. You prayed for clarity and confusion hit. That's not contradiction, it's calibration. The enemy doesn't attack what's empty. He attacks what's forming. He wants to cut the process short so you'll never carry the weight of what God promised. You asked for impact, and now you feel invisible. You asked for power, and now you feel hidden. That's not abandonment. That's alignment. God's not ignoring you. He's instructing you. You're not forgotten. You're being forged. He's not late. He's exact. Vision will separate you. It will isolate you. It will strip away everything and everyone that doesn't match your calling. That silence, that lack of applause, that season where no one notices, that's where warriors are made. That's where weapons are formed. Vision requires distance from distraction. If you stay surrounded by noise, you'll never hear divine instruction. If you keep chasing validation, you'll lose alignment. You can't prepare for destiny while begging for attention. Preparation happens in private. The world will only see the moment, but God watched the months. He saw the quiet obedience, the prayers no one heard, the decisions no one understood. That's what makes you dangerous. Because when the vision is fulfilled and the doors explode open, it won't be luck. It won't be charm. It'll be work. It'll be grit. It'll be faith. You won't just have shown up. You'll be built for it. Vision doesn't visit the lazy. It lands on the disciplined. The ones who can handle not yet without quitting. The ones who train with no audience. The ones who grind when no one claps. Preparation is the test most people fail because it never comes with applause. It's always the labor before the lift. It's always the discipline before the demonstration. But those who stay faithful in the hidden places are the ones who radiate when the spotlight finally comes. If you're tucked away in the shadows right now, good. Stay there. That's the sacred place where God shapes his greatest instruments. You think you're falling behind because it hasn't arrived yet? But God isn't building a moment. He's crafting a movement. And movements don't move fast. They take time. He's conditioning your spirit, refining your thoughts, aligning your environment, and pruning your connections. Every delay is part of the blueprint. Every closed door is a calculated shift. Every silent night is sharpening your edge. You're not being sidelined. You're being stationed. Vision demands capacity, and capacity takes training. You can't bear the weight of divine assignment until your soul is reinforced enough to carry it. Because when God gives you something, it's never just for you. It flows through you. And if you buckle under pressure, the ones assigned to you fall too. That's why the process is fierce, because the purpose is enormous. If you believe the vision, live like it. Build in the silence. Work when no one claps. Serve without thanks. Obey without clarity. Because a dream without discipline is just decoration. It's beautiful in your mind but brittle in your hands. But when grind meets grace, when training meets timing, acceleration is unleashed. That's when heaven breathes on your labor. That's when the doors that were once shut open without force. That's when the weight you carry becomes evident, even in a whisper. So stop cursing the quiet season. Stop despising the proving ground. Stop praying for shortcuts. Preparation is not punishment. It's permission. It's heaven's endorsement saying, I'm equipping you now for what I'm about to release. And when God says you're ready, no delay can derail it. No devil can dismiss it. No man can unmake it. You become grounded, focused, unstoppable. Because you didn't skip the furnace. You didn't avoid the climb. You didn't cheat the process. You became the person the promise required. And when the vision unfolds, when the stage appears, when you walk into the very room you once only prayed for, you won't be shocked. You'll be ready, not because it was smooth, not because it was swift, but because you respected the silence. Isolation is the sacred forge where God crafts weapons. It's where distractions die and purpose is born. It's where noise fades and discernment grows. He doesn't develop warriors in the limelight. He carves them in caves. So if you're in that season where you feel misunderstood, where the phone goes quiet, where rooms grow empty, don't fear. That's not abandonment. That's accuracy. You're not being left. You're being led. The most dangerous people on earth are those who embrace the shadows and came out sharper. Isolation isn't about being alone. It's about being aligned. When God isolates you, he's removing noise. He's stripping away sabotage before it can strike. The voices that disappeared were never meant to stay. The invites that stopped arriving were redirections. The platform that once held you was too small for where he's taking you. So he pulled you back to pour into you. He shut it all down to set you up. Because what's coming can't be carried by someone still addicted to claps. The crowd may celebrate your gift, but only God will mold your character. And character isn't crafted in applause, it's hammered in solitude. The forge is uncomfortable. It's not flashy, but it's essential. In that quiet place, you face your wounds, your patterns, your fears. And that's where God goes to work. Not surface work, soul work. The kind that reshapes your core so that when you return, people don't recognize your posture because you changed your outfit. They recognize your power because you changed your spirit. Stop seeing silence as a sentence. It's strategy. God never hides what he's discarding. He hides what he's developing. You're not unseen because you're unwanted. You're unseen because you're invaluable. He's building something in you that must be born in quiet. Oil is not produced by surface pressure. It flows from the crushing. The deeper the crushing, the greater the flow. You're not late. You're in the chamber, the inner sanctum where strength is forged and clarity is given. You asked to be used, and then the familiar fell away. That wasn't contradiction. That was confirmation. Before God uses a vessel, he empties it. Before he sets it aflame, he strips it of the fluff. Isolation reveals what was fake. It burns off what was built on approval. It dismantles what depended on public validation until it's just you and him. And that's the place where legends rise. That's where your roots go so deep that your future reach won't shake you. People will mislabel your silence. Let them. They'll call it disconnection, failure, depression. Let them. The forge isn't for them. It's for you. Let them talk while you train. Let them rush while you listen. Because when the door opens again, it won't be them walking through it. It'll be you. And you'll walk in with weight, with fire, with vision. Not just to be seen, but to shift atmospheres. The forge doesn't create personalities. It bursts weapons. Don't confuse the quiet for lack of significance. Just because it's silent doesn't mean God's still. He's adjusting your focus, increasing your precision, pulling weeds from your motives. He's breaking unhealthy ties and shattering patterns that would sabotage the promise. You're not losing, you're leveling. And leveling requires silence. That's why he removed the crowd. That's why he cut off the noise. That's why he drew you back. Because you're safest in his hands and his workshop under his correction. This is not exile, this is elevation. It's not distance from destiny, it's the doorway to it. When you start seeing isolation as intention, everything shifts. You stop resisting it and start harvesting it. You extract wisdom instead of whining. Because deep down, you know, true power is never born in noise. Let them believe you vanished. Let them forget your name. Because when God finishes with you, they won't just remember. They'll realize they missed the making. You'll walk back out not looking for validation, but carrying authority. You won't just make noise, you'll carry sound. Because while they scrolled, you sharpened. While they chased influence, you chased fire. And now that fire will follow you. So don't fight the silence. Don't rush the forming. Don't resent the stillness. Stay faithful. Stay grounded. Stay hidden for as long as it takes. Because what's being crafted here is not casual. It's consecrated. It's not fleeting. It's foundational. It's not for applause. It's for assignment. That's why he drew you away. That's why the spotlight dimmed. Not because he forgot you, because he's forming you. Because when you exit this season, you'll be unshakable. And that's exactly what the next season demands. Obedience is what unlocks overflow. Not speed, not popularity, not shortcuts. Obedience, that steady, quiet, unshakable yes. Even when it doesn't make sense, even when it costs comfort, even when no one claps. That yes is what heaven responds to, not your status, not your platform, but your submission. Because obedience proves trust, and trust is the channel for divine power. You don't stumble into overflow, you align for it. And alignment only comes through obedience. There's a reason you feel called to stay faithful in what looks like a barren season. There's a reason the command didn't come with an explanation. God doesn't ask for your comprehension, He asks for your commitment. Because obedience isn't about control, it's about construction. He's not testing you to tease you. He's training you to trust you. Every step of obedience links your rhythm to heaven's timing, and that rhythm always leads to overflow. Every miracle in Scripture began with a command. Never with a speech, never with a plan. Just a word, a step, a stretch. Noah didn't wait for clouds. He built. Abraham didn't wait for a map. He moved. Moses didn't wait for Pharaoh's favor. He lifted his staff. Jesus didn't wait for acceptance. He walked to the cross. Obedience always looks foolish before it looks fruitful. But if you can stand to look foolish, you'll one day stand favored. Most people never see overflow because they walk away too early. They ask for proof before they move. But faith doesn't work that way. Obedience is moving when you don't have proof, just presence. And that kind of obedience makes you a vessel that can hold what God's about to pour. He doesn't release overflow into rebellion. He doesn't anoint confusion. But He honors surrender. Not perfection, but devotion. Not image, but integrity. Heaven isn't moved by flash. It's drawn to faithfulness. The ones who kept showing up when it felt empty. The ones who built when nobody was clapping. The ones who sowed when the soil looked dead. You can't fake obedience. Heaven knows and heaven rewards. You might not get likes, but you'll get acceleration. You might not trend, but you'll multiply. You might not be noticed, but you'll be marked. That whisper you keep ignoring, that tug you've been avoiding, it's not random. It's the gateway, the test. And until you respond, the next instruction won't come. God doesn't waste strategies on the distracted. He gives clarity to the committed. Obedience trains your ears. It sharpens your eyes. It aligns your steps. And when alignment meets timing, favor finds you. Not the kind you beg for, the kind that chases you, that meets you in the field because you stayed planted. Obedience may cost you popularity, but it always births power. There's a reason the biggest miracles come after the hardest yes. God isn't just interested in what you can do. He's invested in who you're becoming. He's not chasing your productivity. He's shaping your maturity. You're not waiting for overflow. Overflow is waiting on your obedience. Because obedience does what effort can't. It unlocks what hustle never could. It releases a grace that no grind will ever match. It may feel slow right now. It may look small. But every step you take in quiet obedience is weakening the wall, stretching the seam, cracking the dam. And one day, without warning, it will break. The flood will come. Doors will open that you didn't knock on. Favor will find you before you even ask. And no, it won't be luck. It won't be coincidence. It'll be the harvest of every hidden yes, every silent sacrifice, every faithful step when quitting felt easier. You won't have to chase overflow. You won't have to fabricate favor. All you'll need to do is stay aligned. So check your heart. Examine your posture. Are you obeying fully or only when it's convenient? Are you stepping by faith or only when it makes sense? Because partial obedience is still disobedience. Delayed obedience is still rebellion. Conditional obedience isn't obedience. It's manipulation. But full surrender, that immediate, humble, God-first obedience, that's where everything shifts. That's the key that unlocks peace. That's the doorway to power. That's what opens provision. That's what pours out overflow. Not because you earned it, but because you made room to carry it. When you walk in obedience, you stop striving, you stop forcing, you stop exhausting, and things begin to align around you. Blessings follow the obedient. Favor surrounds the surrendered. Vision multiplies in the hands of those who move without delay. You won't have to push doors open. They'll swing wide because your yes echoed in heaven. And when the overflow comes, when acceleration hits and opportunities collide, don't confuse it for charisma or charm. Don't mistake it for chance. It wasn't luck. It was obedience. Quiet, consistent, costly, courageous. That's what moved heaven. That's what shattered resistance. That's what broke the dam and released the downpour. So don't stop now. Don't shrink back. Don't second-guess the steps just because you haven't seen the outcome yet. Keep showing up. Keep saying yes. Keep obeying even when it's uncomfortable. Because obedience doesn't just unlock overflow, it sustains it. And once you taste the kind of favor obedience attracts, you'll never settle for fake fruit again. If this message spoke to your heart, make sure to like the video, drop a comment below, and leave a rating.